Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. Good times with Scar here, and welcome back to the wonderful worlds of hermits and crafting. And we are flying through the end here, and I found myself another end city, and it appears to be right next to the portal home. This couldn't have been any better. I've been flying around for a good 5 minutes and I haven't found a new city yet. So I have about a stack and a half of shulker boxes, and we had ran out. So I'm doing a quick end run, and yeah, I'm pretty happy to find this one. It would be very sad if this one had already been raided, but today's episode, we've got a really great thing planned. So let me raid this city and I'll meet you back in the Futuristic district. Home sweet home at last. And as somebody who has died 200 plus times here on season 6, going into the end of the Nether is always a nerve-wracking adventure. But fun Scar fact, actually, all this season where I've died almost 200 plus times, I have only lost my stuff one full time, and then, you know, maybe a piece here and there losing it, but I've never had the mass losses that I did in season 5, where I would lose all of my gear over and over and over. So thankfully we've done pretty good this season, but we made a huge haul in the Nether. I can't wait to show you this. Look at this. We got 4 stacks of shulker shells, plus 5, you know, gotta appreciate the 5, and a whole bunch of end rods, which we're gonna need, some gems, some diamonds. Look at that, 41 diamonds, that's fantastic. And then jumping over here, we got, what did we get? 5 elytras and a whole bunch of pretty good tools. Like, there's like a mending sword and all sorts of good stuff. So we did very, very well with that. So with that, we can now head off into the Futuristic District and finally reveal what we're gonna do today. I am so happy reading through the comments in the last episode that you guys like the design of the station and are inspired for some futuristic builds, and that we've been working so heavily with kind of the pirate rustic style. It's fun to mix it all up and go full futuristic, and I'm incredibly inspired, and I'm also facepalming at the same time because I know what it's gonna take to do what is in my mind, and it is gonna take some extreme building. And the first thing we need to do is we need to terraform some futuristic mountains to attach to the side of the station. So the station is designed to be kind of a stepping off point off of the mountain. So once these mountains are installed and ready to roll, then we can do our futuristic designs on the sides of the cliffs that will be like right in front of us, where the waterfall is, where the diorite is. And with that, they're gonna be pipes, and there's gonna be fuel tanks for the rocket platforms that we're gonna have attached to it. We're gonna have additional kind of VTOL landing pads all over the place for different flying planes, and it's gonna be amazing. I think we're gonna really kind of take this little area into a futuristic direction, and I think it's gonna be absolutely amazing. So if you're liking that, if that sounds amazing, hit that like button. And I noticed over here, there is no mobs in here. This is our chance. This is our chance to light it up. There we go. No more unintentional mob farms here. Ah, fantastic. But I hope that sounds cool, and it's gonna take a whole lot of work. So I've been down in the mines once again, carving out a brand new section. So we have the main chamber that we have been mining out this entire season, but I expanded over to this area. It's very difficult in 1.13 now to do strip mining with the ravines being so much lower than they used to be. So this is the kind of the main chamber of our mines, and all of this stone has either been used in the island, the pirate island of course, or in Cherry. We've needed so much stone to keep up with the demand of the redstone on this server, but I got all of these chests just brimming with stone now that we need to pack up and send it to Future Island. That was spooky. But we've got all of our shulker boxes brought out of the mines, and soon this thing will be attached to a mountain. And I love the atmosphere right now with the storm going off. It's absolutely beautiful. But anyway, so I've been drawing out some kind of boundaries on how I want this mountain to be. I don't want it to interfere with Saharia, of course. And as the lightning strikes Saharia at the heart of their secret greed. Anyway, Anyway, this will kind of be a boundary like right here, and that way I don't interfere with anything they have plans with. So kind of like right there, we'll just kind of build it up here, and then it'll attach to that point. And as for down in this zone, I've kind of set an area for where the sand will kind of be built up to the sides of the mountain, and that shouldn't stick out more than about 5 to 8 blocks, so that will not interfere at all with Green's base. So I think we can do this in a really, really good way and make it truly futuristic and definitely jazz up this area. So let's hit super fast build mode. End of super fast build mode, and we have one absolutely crazy looking rock structure here, and it is just the start of it. It needs a whole bunch more refinement and details installed into it, but I honestly think it may have been easier to just tear the entire mountain down and rebuild it, but we're committed at this point and we're gonna find our way through it. And right now it's kind of shaping, and the biggest challenge with this whole thing is that the minecarts need to run across this bridge and onto this rock surface. There's 2 lines are going to be running into here and then like one out. It's very confusing, but we'll figure that part out. But what we need to figure out now, not the lines, is how this will all flow and feel more natural. I've considered kind of making kind of a point up in this area right here to make it more feel like, you know, a proper mountain. You know, it gets a little bit pointy as it goes to the top, and try to make it feel a little bit natural. But I've kind of gone with this cave, or not cave, but more cliff feeling to the side, and I think it's looking decent. And you know, it's just stone at the moment, but where the detail can start to flow is once we start adding grass and sand, and I've even considered putting snow at the very top. And this part right here can be like a VTOL landing pad, and maybe there's like a waterfall coming down right here that's going under the landing pad. Think of something maybe Jurassic Park related, the way that waterfall was in the original movie. But yeah, I think there's potential. We just need to keep working towards that. And I've detected a force. A disturbance in the force of the Vex magic. And that means Cub fan's on his way. Don't look. You're looking, Cub. I told you not to look.
Looking.
No,
I'm looking directly at it. I'm staring directly at the, I don't know, what do I call it? A cliff? Is it a cliff? Is it a peak? Is it a point? What do you call it right now?
Call it what you told me off camera. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
It's the Nightmare Before Christmas cliff, right? A little curve right there, and it's I presume it's going to curl under as well. Have a little, you know, skeleton on top. Yeah.
Oh my god, when you said that, I about died. It's a work in progress, Cub. And you know, like I was telling you, like the walkway that attaches to the station up there, the minecarts have to go across there. So you can't really do like a mountain like peak at the top. It's got to be more of kind of a flat top cliff slash mountainy thing. It's the future.
Okay.
That's how mountains are in the future, Cub. That's what I tell myself at night.
That's how mountains are in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of mountains, I'm also working on some mountains now, man. We're like, see, you got, Sahara's still not open here in the futuristic. I'll just point out. Sahara not open. Concord build mountains to the top of the world. I mean, come on now. You
know what? We're mountain men. You have a mountain man beard. I don't. Sadly. Oh my gosh! Look at that. It is.
Look at that.
Glorious.
Glorious. Glorious.
Sadly, I don't have a beard, and I feel a little self-conscious right now.
Yep, you don't got sandals on either, man. You got to get some sandals.
I know. I need to go there, and I got stuff for you. I got shulker boxes and all sorts of stuff to dump off at your chest. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. I got something for you with this this project here as well.
Oh, tell me. Can I open it?
Right there. Yep.
Oh.
Got some stone for you. Got a little bit. I had to use a couple of stacks for the mountains of Concord, but yeah, just a little gift to you. You can build up.
Oh, I very much appreciate that. Yes, I've exhausted my resources at the moment, so I'm gonna have to go back into the mines, but this will help a ton. Oh, Cub, you know what I saw? It was amazing.
What's that?
There was a thunderstorm, and it struck Sahara.
Did it really?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, man. I do have a question about this place, though.
Yeah.
If we come over here, you see the rail line down there? How is that going to make its way up to here?
Well, you see, Cub, let me tell you.
This is one side, right? This is where one track's going to be. And then how's the other side going to come up and join up with this?
Cub, I don't know if you know, but this is the Futuristic District, and anything's possible in the future.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. That sounds good. Is there any? Do you have any plans of like decorating the inside of this?
It's the future. Everything is plain and boring.
Everything's plain and boring, just all clean cut concrete.
No. I'm gonna build an antenna and a power generation thing up on the top of here. So that's gonna be amazing. Okay. And then off to the sides of each side of the platform is going to be a smaller version of this, and that's where rockets are taking off. So there's gonna be one on the pad and one maybe about just about at build height, way up in the air, taking off, going off to Moonbase Alpha.
Nice. I like it. Rockets taking off. That's the future, right?
Yeah. Future of rockets, and somehow minecarts getting up here through magic and something along those lines we're gonna have to figure out later. Welcome back, and I just spent an entire day carving away at this rock like a giant piece of clay, and I think it finally has some shape. And as I mentioned before, this was the worst side of it, but I'm starting to like it. I think it has some character built into it, and it's just a giant piece of rock at this point, and of course we're gonna add some more detail, plant life, things like that. And I've considered that in two ways, right? We can do it with dirt and grass and waterfalls, or we could do this as a frozen area, right? We could do snow and things along those lines. Might be kind of cool. So I'm really working hard on this thing, trying to give it as much texture and definition as possible. And I think we're finally getting there. And when I look at this area, I can just envision all the fun futuristic builds that we're gonna do up in this area. Like I mentioned before, like landing pads and stuff along those lines to really take it to the next level. And yeah, that was a lot of work. It is the next day. I've put about 6 hours into the carving here, and good old Cub fan stopped by a moment ago and made us a front lawn, which we appreciate. So I'm going to take a little break from the, this building, the mountain building, and I want to turn my attention just to mix things up to the tower here, and I want to put something on the top because it is blank and boring up there. And as I mentioned before, I've been trying to figure out if I want to do some kind of a rocket launch pad there or some kind of power generation communications thing, and I think I've got a little bit of both. So let's get some supplies for that. That's why you come around to watch a Good Times with Scar video for beautiful, modern dirt sculptures. That is right. So this is not a modern dirt sculpture, but the base for our communications / power generation, whatever your imagination wants this thing to be, it can be for you. So we got that built up. It's looking pretty good. It's also very dark. So let me just bring a little light to the mix here. There we are. Beautiful. So this is the base structure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up quite a bit into a point. Now the central portion of it is going to either be, like I said, a radar piece or kind of like a spinning like wind turbine. It could be whatever you want. And that's kind of the beauty of modern, is sometimes it can just be whatever you interpret it to be. So I think that's going to look really cool, especially these crisscrossing pieces that the dark gray is going to sit on. See how it kind of like interlocks in there? I think that's a really fantastic way. Hopefully it looks good when this isn't dirt. So we got a whole lot of materials here. So let's see what we can do with this. We're definitely getting there now. It's a little less dirt and a little bit more concrete. And so the next thing we need to do is figure out how the center of it is going to look and work on the scale to make sure it's not too small or not too big to throw off the perspective of the rest of the station. Welcome back, and as you can see, we've now completed the radar tower and or power generation antenna. I think it is looking good. Now, there are some changes that I'm still considering with this, and that's in the range of color. I think the perspective is good, but where I'm thinking we could change it is in that central white box right there. We can maybe put some kind of a color or some kind of block with a different texture there to really emphasize that that is some kind of workable moving object. And I'm not 100% sure what that could be yet, but as we take a land here and look up at this, it's definitely inspired by Disneyland's old rocket jets. And what I mean by that is Disneyland used to have these really cool rocket jets that were up in the air, and you get on the little rocket and you'd spin around in a circle. So relatively rudimentary attraction, but it added a lot of kinetic energy to the land, and it's been changed to the Astro Orbiter now, and it's just not quite as good as the old ones that used to be way up in the air. Now Tokyo Disneyland has a very similar setup than Disneyland's old one, so there's still like a little bit of a history with that still retaining, but that's what inspired me for this. And when I look at this, I'm trying to decide, is it a power generation antenna or is it some kind of radar communications tower? You let me know. Are you team radar or team power? In the comments, hashtag power, hashtag radar. I want to hear from you guys, but I am really liking that. I think it adds a lot to the area, and it was a nice diversion from doing all of this stone work. Like, I was so stoned out of this build over here, I had to have a little diversion, and I'm glad I did take a moment to work on that, because this here is a huge project. So what we need to do is we need to enclose this. So get this all enclosed, and oh my gosh. Oh, geez. That is the biggest unintentional mob farm I've ever created. I seem to outdo myself every episode. Look at that. That is insane. We got some green people coming on over here. Got this guy with that eyebrow. Man, he is very, very suspicious of me with that eyebrow. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Come on, you redstoners out there. You guys can't compete with my unintentional mob farms. Anyway, let's get back to work. We need to enclose that, and then we need to start working on the details. So I think I'm going to focus on this side first, and we're just going to start kind of incorporating some grass back into the area. Now, as I said before, I was thinking about doing some snow, but to blend in with the entire area, I think we'll probably stay away from that and move more towards, you know, kind of the grass that you'll find in the other areas, and start, you know, applying that, getting a waterfall flowing down here. I think it'll be absolutely beautiful. So my friends, let's hit super fast build mode and start bringing a little beauty to the futuristic district. end of super fast build mode, and we've got ourselves a beautiful futuristic landscape with waterfalls and all sorts of fun little details to be had in this area. And that was a lot of work. It was thousands and thousands of blocks that we have placed in the last 3 days, and I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth it because it really makes this area have a really cool impact, and eventually getting all of our futuristic little builds and floating platforms in this area will then really transform the area from kind of a nice landscape to a futuristic wonderland, and I'm loving it. Is that a flower? That is a flower, and it's gonna die with the best of 1,000 scars. Bam. Oh gosh, there we go. I think that is looking really fancy now. So eventually we'll get some trees in here and other things along those lines to, you know, make it a little bit more of a lush landscape. And I'd love to get a little bit more gravel, maybe even a little bit of powdered concrete in the light gray variety, just to give it a little bit more definition in the rocks around here. And I think the waterfall came out really nice. It originally looked absolutely awful, but as I say, sometimes you gotta persevere. If you've got a vision in your head, even when it looks terrible, you can't give up. You got to keep trying. And I think it looks nice. And I added this little turbulent water here to give it a little more energy into the build. So I think that looks really nice. And if we fly up here, that is one of the best ways of doing waterfalls, is the big one and then the little one. The big one right here needs to be a little skinnier than the final one that's smaller. That helps with the scale and the perspective of the build and makes it look a little nicer. So we got the dirt hanging off there and one piece of snow. The snow is going to be a huge problem, guys, because I decided not to go with the snowy landscape. So unless we still could we still do the snowy landscape? I don't know. Maybe it's kind of in the middle of a spring thaw. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out in our next episode. And let's fly over to Saharia, our good friends Saharia. As you know, Concorp and Saharia are in a lighthearted, competitive battle for the hearts and minds of the shopping public of Hermitcraft. And, you know, like I said, we're lighthearted competition. But even though we're in competition, I don't want them to have this ugly view. This is an ugly view, and we will fix it. Saharia, I promise you, this will look better eventually. Maybe a waterfall across here. You know, if we do make it kind of snowy, kind of spring thaw, if you will, we could put some ice around the waterfall over there. That right there would look absolutely amazing. So this backside here, we will eventually get that landscape and our communication tower up there looking super fancy. But we're on our way to Concorp because I have some things to give Cub, and he said he's got diamonds for me. Heading on down into the Concorp boardroom, I must have alerted Cub to my presence here. And let's see, there's the boxes. And we are still missing a parrot. And if you guys know where this parrot has gone, please let Concorp know immediately. The parrot board is down one parrot, and we need our fellow parrots back. Anyway, so here we go. And the sandals of solidarity Cub has been telling me all about, and 46 diamonds, absolutely fantastic. So we'll put those away in the scarred treasure chest here. There we are. And for Cub here, I hope he doesn't think I stole this head. I accidentally took it when we were wearing them for jokes and gags, and I took it and I lost it. It was a whole thing. So I'm gonna give that back to him, and I'm gonna give him 64 shells for the factories to keep them brimming full of supplies and continuing the production that we have. And there we are, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as we terraformed the futuristic district and added the communications / power generation tower on top of our station. And I really hope you were inspired and enjoyed today's episode. And I really think we're going to incorporate the snow somehow into it. How we're going to do that, I have no idea. But until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and I always really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the videos. And if you believe the video deserved a rating, that would be much appreciated. And until next time, we'll see you later. And don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.